So today I'm welcoming my first guest of the year, Chantal. She is a affiliate marketer based in Zimbabwe. She's a Zimbabwean lady doing wonderful things online, and I'm so excited to have her on the call with me. She'll be joining me soon. She's amazing because she quit school to start her job when she was a teenager. So to start entrepreneurship rather. So she's an amazing young lady, and it's amazing to have a Zimbabwean who is that tenacious and that excited for business and for entrepreneurship. And I'm excited to have her on the wristprint. And she is my official first lady. So it's ladies' night on the wristprint. Hi, Chantal.
Hey, how's it going?
Great. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Good, thank you.
It's wonderful to have you on the wristprint.
Thank you so much for having me. I've been looking forward to it for ages. It's absolute pleasure to be here and chat with you for a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you're an awesome guest, and you're my first lady to have on the wristprint. So it's ladies' night.
That's amazing. Super
Yeah.
cool. In fact, it'll be my first local interview. I think that's
Wow.
what I'm most excited about. So I've done
Yeah.
interviews like globally over the last couple of years, but this is my very first one in Zimbabwe. So yeah, this is all hype for me. Super, super excited.
Yeah, that's actually how I found out about you. I was deep interneting deep that day. And I saw your Facebook page, and I saw a podcast you were on in the States, and I was like, oh, it's interesting to see a Zimbabwean lady getting so much recognition outside of Zimbabwe like that.
Well, I'm glad you found me deep in the interwebs somewhere.
Oh,
It's only been recently where I've kind of got a little bit of headway in Zimbabwe. It's been a lot easier to get traction outside the country. But the algorithm has finally put me in position now where I'm kind of meeting up with a few more Zimbos. So it's
yeah,
really,
so I
really
guess I was just
exciting.
in the right place at the right time, hey.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So I'm excited to have you because you are an affiliate marketer, you are a wonderful businesswoman, and you are Zimbabwean. So I think it's very inspiring to have somebody like you. Tell me more about how you got into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, so basically, it's been a long road of entrepreneurship for me. I actually must have been a massive headache to my parents because I took myself out of school at 14 years old and
Wow.
basically decided that if I could make money and actually start my own business, I didn't see the reason to continue with school, right? So basically,
Surely you
took
don't
myself
have
out of
Zimbabwean parents. Surely.
I think they possibly thought if they weren't going to try and be supportive, then I was going to be very rebellious.
Okay.
And there was always an opportunity for me to go back to school if it didn't kind of work out.
Yeah.
But the long and the short of it is, we've got
Really
quite an
worked out.
entrepreneurial family as well.
Mm.
And it's worked out, which is amazing. So basically got started with my first little business at the age of 14. And I've been involved in a multitude of industries throughout the years, 20 plus without giving my years away. But yeah, basically at the end of 2016, was feeling really burnt out from being a slave to profit, right?
Mm.
Because even though you're a business owner, you kind of fully invested there. So I was working 18-hour days, 7 days a week, missing out on important family occasions, missing out on my life really, and I just felt like I needed time and flexibility back in my life. So actually wound down the companies that I had and decided to go and get a 9 to 5 after all those years of having businesses, which I don't recommend to anyone, especially if you've had your own business, because it's really hard to go and work for someone when you've worked for yourself, right? And although I was offered a great salary and benefits and all the rest of it, because of the economic circumstances in Zim and, with the RTGS and the dollar and everything else, it quickly went down to like less than $200 a month, which is not sustainable. As it was really, really difficult and trying. So decided to resign from that at the end of 2019, and was kind of in between starting another traditional business, maybe looking at getting another job. And then the pandemic happened, right? And I had pretty much lost everything. The businesses, I'd lost the job, moved back in with my parents at the tender age of 30 something, which was also a big deal. and was just like, sure, what am I going to do? So basically went online and searched for ways to make money online. And went down the rabbit hole of trying everything that doesn't work, investing in every single guru that was out there, because there's millions of them. And really a couple of years later, I'm now a full-time online business owner who's helping folks start and develop their own personal brands through social media. So yeah, it's kind of where I find myself now.
Well, so how did you land on, like you said, you researched a lot of like online industries. So how did you land on affiliate marketing, especially? Specifically, yeah.
So I don't know if I found him or he found me. You know how marketing works. But I basically met someone in Australia who was doing really, really well. He'd actually just hit his first 6-figure year in under a year. So he was making consistent $10,000 months. And to me, I was like, wait, I need to pay attention as to how he's making that, first of all, and then really look at the business model as a whole, and kind of really intentionally did my due diligence to see what high-ticket affiliate marketing was all about and why it was such an interesting business model. And it was just a no-brainer. It's really easy to get started from a low entry perspective. You're not having to invest tens of thousands of dollars to get something off the ground. The overheads of your business are really low and your expenses are really low. You can work from home and all you need is an internet connection, right? So pretty much no-brainer for me to get started from a business perspective, and kind of invested with him at the end of 2020 and have just been going down this high-ticket affiliate marketing road. So it's a really, really interesting business model, and that's kind of why I invested with him.
So you mentioned it's a fairly low barrier to entry. How much would somebody watching you say, okay, I'm interested in, because I like affiliate marketing online because you're more of a business owner rather than other like we hear a lot about virtual assisting and copywriting, and I hear a lot about that, but you're more of an employee. Yeah, you freelancer though, but you're more of an employee. So I do like affiliate marketing. So I just want to touch on that for somebody who's watching. If they are interested in starting, how much are they looking at as an initial investment to get into the game?
I think before I speak about the investment side, you actually touched on something which is really great. And that's the point that the benefits of it is you're not actually having to go out there and find the product yourself or develop the product yourself, right? You're not actually having to employ any staff. You basically are the middleman between the product and the person that wants that product, and you're making a percentage of that. And the percentage is really high. You can be making anything between 40 and 50% per sale, which is just unheard of in a traditional sense. I think the top that I paid my sales guys back when I had my businesses was anywhere between 3 to 5% maximum. So, when I heard that I didn't have to do any of the hard stuff in the back end and still make between 40 to 50%, I was like, wow. So, to kind of get started, it depends where you want to start and how quickly you want to go. But it's anything between $1,000 and probably $5,000 to get going. Just depends at what point you want to come in and how quickly you actually want to do things. And that's the great part I found as well, is we're always a student, right? As an entrepreneur, as a business owner, there's always so many new things to learn. So, I found when I first got started, I actually invested $2,500. That was the first investment I made. And last year alone, I actually reinvested $12,000 into the business to learn the skills, continue in the business. But you get what you pay for, and I just feel there's so many transferable skills that can be learned in the online space that can be adapted to everything in your outside world as well. So anything from, I'd say entry level, anything from $100 to $2,500.
Considering like the position you were in your life at the time you started affiliate marketing, how did you manage to afford even $2,500? Because I'm looking from the point of view of someone who's local and they're thinking, "Shoosh, 100 is a stretch, let alone 2.5." How did you manage it?
So look, I think it comes down to mindset, like what's going on between the ears, So I've always liked to say it's not about the resources that we have, it's about the resourcefulness that we have, right? So, when I was looking at this, I didn't even have $50 in my pocket at the time. I would move back in with my folks. I'd lost the businesses. I was in a really, really tough position. However, I had a whole bunch of stuff I hadn't seen for like 6 months inside my garage. And I was like, wait, this has got some value. If I haven't seen it, I don't need it. Let me sell it. And saw the opportunity to speak to a whole bunch of friends of mine who also had stuff in their garages that they wanted to sell, which I went and I sold it on commission. And I actually sold it on the auction center, one of those auction centers on Facebook,
Okay, yeah.
and made like 30% commission on the stuff I was selling for them. And within 2 weeks, I had accumulated $2,500 to actually lock in and get started with my first investment online. So, I think that the opportunity is available to anybody that wants it. And when there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And there's always ways to work around things if that's the way you want to go. So that's how I got started.
Well, you seem very self-assured and very confident. How do you how to deal with anything that us mere mortals deal with, self-doubt? Do you deal with anything like that? Do you ever have a bad day?
Every single day of my life, because at the end of the day, we're all just humans, dealing with very human circumstances. No matter where you live in the world, we all have things to get through. And, whether you're a millionaire or whether you're a $100 earner, we're facing the same challenges out there. So I definitely deal with a lot of self-doubt and that big ugly guy on my shoulder telling me that I'm not good enough and I can't make this happen. Yeah. And the only way that I really get through it is because I have surrounded myself with people who are on a very similar journey to myself. Entrepreneurship can be a really, really lonely game because we're so often misunderstood, especially by our family members and friends, because we're not taking the traditional route of comfort and we're trying to chase these big dreams, which people just don't understand. So the only way I've really stuck with it and get through it is I've surrounded myself with a group of entrepreneurs who are doing so much better than me already. I'm fortunate to have coaches who are already multi-six-figure earners. And so when you're sitting in a room with mindsets like that, you automatically start to think the same way and behave the same way. And at least you've got someone where you can get on a call and say, I'm having a really bad day. I'm really doubting, where I'm going and how things are going to work in my life. And they kind of keep you on that trail. So I definitely don't think entrepreneurship is linear, and it certainly doesn't separate us from anybody. And it just takes having that burning desire as to why you actually want to do this in the first place, right? As a lot of our parents in this country did, they lost their pension more than once, probably 3 times at this point. And, a massive burning desire for me is to actually retire my mom, who works 2 jobs. Wow. And in my mind, if get up at her age, she'd hate me for saying her age, so I'm just going to say in her 60s, right? And go and do 2 jobs to make ends meet, then with my age I should have the energy to give it everything I've got to give her the retirement that she deserves. So I think when you've got a burning desire why, you can get up and go for it every single day, no matter what's going on in there.
I want to touch a little bit more on affiliate marketing. It seems like it's very closely related with having good relationships and social media. So how do you handle those two? Like, if you have absolutely no following or no social media presence, can you start affiliate marketing?
Absolutely. So, look, that's where the investment side of things come into it, right? Because what you're really learning how to do is to develop your own personal brand through social media, so it's a bit like any brick and mortar company, you actually have to have traffic come through your store. Yeah. And the way that you do that online is to have a social media presence, because that's where you're actually attracting traffic, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that from beginner all the way to intermediate, all the way to advanced, you can be doing this business as long as you are learning the fundamental skills to building out this type of business, right? Which is basically content creation and learning how to actually present content in a way which is going to reach a broader audience. Mm-hmm. Okay, you're going to have offers and offer creation, and actually learning how to put together your offer, whether you are doing physical products, because affiliate marketing is really big, right? There's so many different products you can get involved in, whether that's physical, whether that's digital, whether it's courses, consulting, it's a really wide open type of business model. So you've really got to learn how to do, the overall offers of that. But the key is actually building relationships, right? So that was the one big thing that I struggled with when I came online, because I honestly thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to smash 10K in 30 days. I with all my experience, this is awesome. Yeah. But the one thing I was missing is it's a really transactional type of world in a traditional sense. Because if you come to my store, you already know why you're coming there and what you're purchasing. So we never even really have to have a conversation, right? You're going to give me your money. I'm going to give you your product. Job done. But in the online world, it really comes down to knowing, liking, and trusting who you're dealing with, especially when you're handing over money to somebody that you don't know. So it's a really relational based business, and it takes building relationships over periods of time before you can actually do business with people. And those are really the three fundamental things that tie it all together and, build out your personal brand. So that's why investing in the skills is so important. And secondly, developing things over time so that people can get to know exactly who you are. I mean, I'm not entirely sure of when you came into my world, but it must have been about 3-4 months ago already.
Yes.
So you've been consuming a lot of everything that I'm putting out there, and we've got to know each other in that respect. But it doesn't just happen today, which is one key thing that a lot of people miss when they come online, is you actually have to be building relationships for the long term.
So do I have to be like the face of my business when I'm an affiliate marketer?
Absolutely. That's why I lean into personal branding so much. It's something that I've kind of learned over the last year, is how powerful the personal brand is, because a brick and mortar has their logo. Before you even get to that store, you know exactly what they're about. It's exactly the same coming into the online world. You are your storefront. You are the face of your brand. So people have got to know what you're about, what you can offer them, how you can support them, long before they will take any products from you. So it's got similarities. It's just presented in a different way to a traditional brick and mortar.
So I just wanted to ask you something about yourself as a businesswoman, as a Zimbabwean. You are somebody who has such, how do I say it? You have quite a fairly large presence outside Zim. And, you're fairly, making quite waves in Zimbabwe. So how do you market? How do you feel about your nation? And I mean, you've become sort of an ambassador for your country. So I want to find out how it is. How do you market your country out there? And do you have any advice or any information you give when people ask you about business, especially the business environment in Zim?
Yeah, so, I think where social media has been so powerful, especially over the last 2 years as I've grown such a following, is it's such an amazing platform to express your values, to express where you come from, to express the positives of the place that you're in. So by developing a personal brand, I can share every single element of where I come from, why I've stayed here, what I love about it. And we so often, I found, especially over the years, what you focus on expands. So the more I focus in a positive way on our country and the many opportunities that exist here, the more that kind of reflects through my content and through what I'm talking about. And I'm very, very proud to be Zimbabwean. So in a lot of my content, you will see that expressed, I share a lot of my lifestyle and, what I've got access to, which is just absolutely incredible. We go outside our front doors and we've got this massive open space and these big skies and access to animals and all these amazing experiences. So to have such a platform to share it with the global audience has been amazing. And all throughout last year, my best friend and I actually have a hiking club, and we were actually hiking all throughout Zimbabwe.
I want to join.
You've got to come and join. It's just amazing.
Yeah.
And I've experienced so much of Zimbabwe by foot, which I never knew existed.
Wow.
But I can present through my copywriting and through all of my video content, because that's my backdrop for what's going on. I've had so many people overseas go, but wait, hang on, where do you live? That doesn't look like America. Like, where do you? So it's given me context to open up and have, that platform to discuss our country. I'm actually planning on doing a mastermind here in 2024, where my inner circle from overseas are all going to actually come here and do a week of masterminding about our own business, which also creates the opportunity for a bit of tourism coming into the country as well, because people don't even know Zimbabwe exists. They know South Africa, right? Everyone knows South Africa. But when you talk a little bit further north of the border, there's a lot of people that don't even know we exist. So, it's been an incredible opportunity to share the values and the love I have for this place, on top of just being a business owner, for sure.
I love that. And what would you say to the local person, the local girl, the local guy who's watching and they're thinking, yeah, it sounds great, but is it really feasible? Am I really going to start this business and actually come out of my situation? Considering a lot of people watching are probably having some dire financial issues. What would you say to somebody like that who's watching?
You know, what I say to a lot of people now is I was also in a bad situation, so I come from a place of a level of awareness of where people are at.
Yeah.
But if you want something bad enough in your life and you really desire it and you go and put everything into it, I only see people coming out the other side. The only time that you fail is when you actually give up.
Mhm.
Okay. But if you continue to push forward with your dream or desires, it doesn't matter where you come from. That's got nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
What matters is where we're going. And I think it's the discussion you and I shared as well. Like, it's up to us to change our environment. It's not up to anybody else. So we can't look up to anybody else. We actually have to look internally and go, okay, let me water my own grass.
Exactly.
Let me grow my country. Let me grow my own skills.
Exactly.
Make it a personal responsibility, ourselves accountable to the higher standard, so that we can present that to future generations in this country as well.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
I always just like to say, don't give up on the things you dream about. But the minute that you do something, apply it and take massive uncomfortable action until you get the stuff done, because it's impossible for anybody. It's possible for anybody. The only way it's not is just by giving up on things.
Yeah. So finally, if somebody is interested in getting to know more about affiliate marketing or getting into the business, can they contact you?
Absolutely. I actually have a free Facebook group over in Facebook. So you can actually find me there. It's almost 1,000 members strong, which is an absolutely amazing stepping stone in my world. But I offer a lot of free insights, a lot of information as to what this takes, what the business model is about. So you get a really good understanding if this is something that you even want to be involved in, because ultimately it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
And I'm not looking to work with 1 million people either. I'm really about the quality of people I work with, not the quantity. But absolutely, anybody who wants to have a chat and learn more about it, doors are always open.
That's wonderful, Chantal. I'm grateful and thank you for being a part of part of my podcast. The Risk Grid is recently launched, so I'm still a baby, but I'm so grateful that you took time out of your day to have a chat with me. And I'm so inspired by seeing a Zimbabwean woman, a Zimbabwean do great things, online, great things in business. And it's so exciting to have somebody like you on the Risk Grid. So thank you very much.
Oh, well, thank you. I truly am honored that this is my first one, and congratulations on getting your podcast started. I know that it's no easy feat to get things going in this place, and I truly believe in the direction you're going. I know you have a very solid purpose and a very solid why, so I've got your back 100%, and it's just been an absolute honor to be with you on the show. So appreciate you too.
All right, Shan, thank you. I will be in touch and I will definitely be taking part in the affiliate marketing program. So thank you for that again.
You're welcome. I'm looking very much forward to it. It's going to be amazing to see what you do with the brand in the next couple.
Thank you. All right. Ciao.
See you later.
See you.